running out. Miguel Marquez is in Newfoundland tonight with the latest on the search. Miguel.
Allison, I'm going to show you what's happening here on the ground in St. John's right now. This is the Horizon Arctic. This is the sister ship to the Polar Prince that took the submersible out there, the Titan submersible out there. That's what it launched off of, and it is now that the Polar Prince is now taking part in the search for the submersible. There are 3 C-17 big military cargo jets that have landed here in St. John's. They have tons of gear to bring onto this ship, we believe, that will then port out. A Canadian Coast Guard ship left earlier today and is on its way to the search area. There are planes in the air, planes to not only look on the surface, but planes to drop buoys and listen for anything coming from that submersible. The ships are doing that as well, at least the Polar Prince is. The concern here is the easy part of this operation should be locating that ship, hearing a pain from it, an emergency beacon of some sort. They have not been able to hear anything from this ship so far. It is the pressure is extremely great that deep down. It is extremely cold, and they are running out of oxygen. And the fact that they cannot find that ship yet, or that submersible yet, is a great concern, because the hard part will be once they find it, getting it secured and hopefully bringing those people home to safety. Allison?
Miguel, thank you very much for all of that. Let's bring in our experts now. Here with me tonight, we have Tim Taylor, an expert in deep water searches, Christine Dennison, who plans and runs expeditions like this one, also Bill Willard, who's traveled down to the Titanic site twice and has been friends with Paul-Henri Nargeolet, one of the missing people for more than 2 decades. Thank you all for being here. So Bill, let's talk about that. The new equipment that they've just brought in. What's the plan? To send a robot down and look around?
A remote-operated vehicle is basically a tethered vehicle that's run down on a cable and operated by a man on the ship to drive around with cameras and sonar and other equipment to try to locate.
But at the moment, they don't have one that can go down 13,000 feet.
Correct. My understanding is they have one on site. One goes to 3,000 meters. They're in 3,800 meters. They have another one. Last I heard, from my sources, they have a French ship that's underway with an ROV on board that can hit 6,000 meters.
Meaning 13,000 feet.
Much deeper than that, so they got the capability. These things are not ready available, not ready, sitting there waiting to go, so this is a good thing that they got somebody that may be there with capabilities before the time runs out.
Everyone, we have some new information coming into our newsroom about this right now. In fact, an internal U.S. Memo finds that crews searching have heard banging sounds every half an hour during their search. So this is the crews who have been searching for the submersible heard this every 30 minutes today, and 4 hours later, after additional sonar devices were deployed, the banging was still heard. Unclear what the banging was or for how long it had been going. Subsequent updates Tuesday night suggested more sounds were heard, though those were not described as banging. Additional acoustic feedback was heard and will assist in vectoring surface assets and also indicating continued hope of survivors. So that's the latest update, Christine. I mean, obviously that is hopeful, though vague. But you plan, expeditions like this, obviously. These are not for faint of heart people. And I assume that many sort of millionaires or billionaires, as we know, are on this one, like do things like this. But you say that you try to prepare for every contingency. So what would you have done differently?
Well, my expertise in running for 20 some odd years has been working in the polar regions, in the high Arctic. And that is very remote. We're underwater. We're not nearly as deep, but it comes down to really mitigating, it's risk assessment and mitigating risk for yourself as company owner and as an expedition leader. I have to concern myself with the obvious litigation, potential litigation, liability, and also look out for my clients. And at the end of the day, it's taking care of clients. It's the people that entrust their life to you. And so this is a very, very big undertaking for them. And I hope that everything was in place that they needed.
Of course. Bill, as we mentioned, you are friends with Paul-Henri and have been for...
PH, yes.
Yes, for more than... You call him PH.
pH.
What about this development that we are just getting, this breaking news that the crews have heard these banging sounds every 30 minutes, and that it's after these sonar devices were deployed? What does that tell you?
As you said, if this is an accurate story, then it is a tremendous amount of hope. The time interval of 30 minutes does suggest that this is made, and that is something that pH would do. Is
Bill, I think we've lost you.
try to be located.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, Bill, we lost you for a second there. You're saying that the interval of every 30 minutes, why does that tell you that it's something that pH would do?
It's man-made. When you're down there, it's going to be dark, it's going to be cold. You're going to try to send out some way to be noticed.
Bill, we'll fix that because you're freezing a little bit. We'll fix that and get that back to you. Tim, what do you think? Does this give you new hope?
I agree with him. I know pH not as well as his friend, and I actually met him on CNN 10 years ago on Flight 270. We were on set together, and we kept in touch over the years. So I would agree. He would be resourceful. They would be MacGyver in this. They need to be heard. Acoustic pinger, which I question why it's not on this ship. They're making their own acoustic pinger. This is the case. They're banging on the hull and sending out signals. And if they're doing it on a regular basis, I'm sure exactly what he would say is that it is a regular 30-minute interval is a man-made thing. It's not a natural occurrence. It doesn't happen like that in nature.
And given that this was picked up on these acoustic feedback machines, that because now there's all these surface assets, is there anything else it could be?
Yeah, well, it could be the Titanic and something in the current drifting and banging. But 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, every time, it is a good sign of hope. So,
yeah. Bill, are you back with us yet?
I'm here, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Bill, you have gone down twice to this site that they were trying.
No, ma'am. I've been to the wreck site. I've been to the wreck site twice, but I've not dived down in Nautilus. But I've been out there at 2 different expeditions.
Oh, so
and
you've
pH led both of them.
meaning you've been out on top of the water, you haven't gone all the way down?
That is correct.
Okay, because we had pH, as you say, on in 2014. He was talking to our Bill here, and he was explaining what it looked like down there. So I just want to play this for everybody.
On the Titanic, you have 2 big parts of the Titanic, but there is a huge debris field where you can find a lot of things like going from China to a piece of wreck, anything like that. And it's the same condition, of course, it's totally dark, and you have to use some light and to see anything.
So Bill, as you can hear him saying there, it's totally dark. It's hard to see anything. You have to use special lights. So how will they, let's say that they have, let's say at some point in the next 30 hours, they can locate where this submersible is. How would they be able to actually spot it? How would they be able to find it?
The ROV will have some kinds of lights that will be shining in front of it, so that it could illuminate an image something that's in front of it. So they would be able to detect that through their open porthole that they have, through the opening that they have to look out. They would see that coming toward. Ballast. If it could release the ballast of that submersible, then you've got Archimedes working with you, and it's going to start lifting on its own very quickly. And it'll still take 2 hours to get to the surface, but inside they will know that they're on their way.
Tim, will this banging help them narrow the search?
yes, they can triangulate on noise. Again, it's only happening every 30 minutes. They only have a data update every 30 minutes. So if it was happening every minute, It'd be a lot easier and a lot faster. I will add to him, the camera and the lights are on the ROV, but they will be also equipped with forward-looking sonar. They're going to be able to look out 200-300 yards, maybe more, depending on how far they are off the bottom, and look with sonar and scan. So they will be able to find a large object like the submarine and the wreck, obviously, but with eyes using sound. So they will have more tools than just a camera and lights.
Christine, I know that earlier today, before we got this news that they had been hearing some banging, that you were, I think it's fair to say, losing hope?
I was. I think we have to remember that we're still not there yet. If we can locate them, if it is them, what condition are they in? They have to be stressed. They're obviously very cold. They're in the dark. And we still have to get them to the surface because remember, they have been bolted in there. So when you bring that sub to the surface, you have to release them.
And when you say they've been bolted in there from the outside, people have bolted them and they don't have any escape plan.
We have to bring them to the surface. You have to secure all the vehicles, and then you have to release them from this submersible. And obviously, they have been through a tremendous amount. You can expect that psychologically, physically, they are not at optimum capacity, and that is. I still hold out hope. This is wonderful, breaking news, but we're not clear yet. There's so many things that can still go wrong, and I think that's very important to know and very important to take very seriously and not lose sight of the fact that we have a recovery mission.
Just to recap for everybody, crews searching for this submersible heard banging sounds every 30 minutes today, and after they used additional sonar devices, the banging was still heard. This is according to an internal government memo. This is an update on the search. It's unclear when the banging was heard today or for how long, based on the memo. It suggested then there were more sounds heard Tuesday night, though that was not described as banging. Quote, additional acoustic feedback was heard and will assist in vectoring surface assets and also indicating continued hope of survivors. Tim, what's your hope level at this hour?
A little higher than it was when I started the show. All right, so there's a lot of work to be done if they are there, if they're in any type of shape. We don't know what happened in the first place. Are they entangled in the wreck? Finding them is the first thing. Extricating them, bringing them to the top, as was stated a second ago, is a whole nother matter. You don't know what you're going to run into yet. And then there's going to be a whole nother set of problems that are going to have to be solved in very short order. Yeah. And we don't know if we even have the assets to do that on board.
But Bill, very quickly, what's your level of hope now?
Very, very strong. We are hoping for the best. This is good news. The fact that there are several rescue vehicles either on site or approaching the site is also strong hope. All of the Titanic community that supports and loves PH and Argelay.
Yeah. Folks, we're going to obviously keep you around and keep in touch with you as we get more information. So we'll stay on the story of this missing submersible. We'll bring you an update later in the show. Okay, other news. Donald Trump used to say that he only hires the best people, but that's not what he calls them anymore.
You and your White House called your White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, dumb as a rock. And your first Defense Secretary, James Mattis, the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh Kennedy, milquetoast, and multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So, why did you hire all of them in the first place?
All right, let's find out what he calls Anthony Scaramucci, who's walking out right now. We'll talk about that and...
I sort of feel left out.
You feel left out. We'll see if you're left out. We'll talk about Donald Trump's new poll numbers next. Thanks so much. Thank you. That was really...
Here's how I pick my numbers when I play the new Pick 5 from the Virginia Lottery. I let my dogs decide.
Win up to $50,000.
I give their treat jar a shake and see how many come running.
5 numbers, 0 through 9.
First number is 2. No, 4. No, is that 6? No, 9? No, down, Ginger!
How you choose is up to you. Play in-store, in-app, or online today. Visit VALottery.com/Pick5.
At Discount Tire, we know your time is valuable. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online. Did you know Discount Tire now sells wiper blades? Check out our current deals at discounttire.com or stop in and talk to an associate today. Discount Tire.
Let's get you taken care of.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot, or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift, whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby, or counting your breaths on the subway.
Inhaling and long exhaling.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
Whoever just hit those brakes hard for no reason was definitely not you. Eric never brakes randomly on the highway, Rubino, because you are a safe driver. And like most drivers who sign up for Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate for how and how much you drive, you could earn a discount for your good driving. So keep on being you. Eric never brakes randomly on the highway, Rubino, and we'll keep on delivering the discounts. Sign up for Snapshot today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents. Switch to Boost Mobile and get the ultra smooth, ultra powerful iPhone 11 for $49.99.
He didn't stutter.
See every angle with dual cameras.
Make it a double.
All on America's largest 5G networks.
Large and in charge, baby.
Get with the power of Boost and get the iPhone 11 for $49.99.
That's half of Benjamin.
Boost Mobile.
Unleash your power.
ID verification required. New customers only, get one per line. Additional restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com for details.
A podiatrist will tell you about your feet. A physical therapist will analyze your gait. A psychologist will help you manage your anxiety. But what if your walk affects your hip alignment and the loss of movement affects your mental health? The body is connected in unseen ways. That's why our doctors work together to care for all that is you. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org.
Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of the Mid-Atlantic States Incorporated, 2101 East Jefferson Street, Rockville, Maryland, 20852.
Hi, I'm Sally, back with more Great Wolf Lodge breaking news. The new lodge in Maryland is opening with some awesome new features. Here's Steven, reporting live.
Hi, Sally. After hitching a ride with the Great Wolves, me and my pack enjoyed a big breakfast. And now I'm in the Great Geyser Water Park looking down the High Paw Holler. And guess what? I'm only a little scared.
Wow, Steven, I'm impressed. This is Sally howling off from Great Wolf Lodge, Maryland.
Now you can amplify your snacking by entering for a chance to win a portable JBL Pulse 5 waterproof speaker when you serve up deliciously different snacks from Cheez-It Puffed, Cheez-It Snapped, and Club Crisps at all of your summer get-togethers. So you could be turning up the biggest summer beats while snacking on the tastiest party eats. No purchase necessary. See full rules and details at www.ksummersweeps.com.
New CNN polling finds that Donald Trump's legal troubles are hurting his approval numbers. Let's bring in our panel. We have CNN legal analyst Jennifer Rogers, former Trump White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci, podcast host Coleman Hughes, and Rolling Stone columnist Jay Michelson. Great to have all of you here. Okay, so let's look at the polling numbers, Anthony. It says here that Donald Trump's favorable numbers, this is among Republicans, okay, and Republican-leaning voters. So in May, they were 77% approval, now 67%. Unfavorable in May was 18%, now 27%. And then in terms of, given the federal charges, this is what was asked, Trump should end his campaign. 90% of Democrats, no surprise, say yes. 62% of independents say yes. 27% of Republicans. What do you make of all that?
I think it's a small dent. I don't think it's a big enough dent yet. But if those numbers really start to move, he'll drop out of the race. He will not be able to handle a eviscerating defeat in Iowa or New Hampshire or
But he won't drop out before the Iowa or the New Hampshire.
With those poll numbers, no. But if you told me he went to 55% unfavorable in the Republican Party, and you saw somebody like Governor Christie or Governor DeSantis rise in the polls, and you saw another indictment or two, and you saw him starting to unravel. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with his hair, but he's got to get a new hairstyle or something.
Really, you see something has changed in his hair.
Oh, come on. He's like physically unraveling. Just take a look at him. Go back to the Brett Baer tape. Yeah.
What part is unraveling?
Well, I mean, he was probably using 6 cans of hairspray during the campaign. He's probably only using 1 now. He's got to straighten this out.
Wow, this is the meter that you're using.
Well,
I like
he's a very image-conscious guy. I mean, there's not enough hairspray going on that raccoon nest. I mean, just being honest. So you can tell that he's unraveling. People that really know him can tell that this thing is starting to come undone on him.
Coleman, do you think that this is a momentary sort of dip in his poll numbers and they'll come back?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think this dip is probably happening because people are seeing not just the indictment itself, but how he is reacting to the indictment, right? He is literally incriminating himself on camera. He's like, his lawyers must be at home just slapping their foreheads, just having strokes because their client is making them crazy. I mean, and this is the kind of thing that even looks bad to his base. And he, famously, he said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue. But it remains to be seen whether he can basically make no efforts to avoid prison without pissing off his base.
Jen, Chris Christie said the same thing, that he felt that Donald Trump was incriminating himself in this Brett Baer interview. So let me play for you the moment that Chris Christie was talking about that he says that Donald Trump incriminated himself about the classified documents. Here's Donald Trump.
Why not just hand them over then? Because I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to Nara yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Is that incriminating?
Absolutely. I mean, recordings are gold for prosecutors anyway, right? And he's basically now thrown out a new defense that he really hasn't used before. I was looking through the boxes and didn't have time to get through them defense, which is ridiculous on its face, completely undercut by the facts, and not a legal defense in any event. So it's definitely incriminating. It just says to me, though, that he's now more concerned about the campaign than about the legal case, because I think he's kind of putting all his eggs in the, if I get elected president again, I can get rid of this basket, as opposed to trying to fight it in the courts, where he really is not going to have a good shot at it because of this guy.
This has to be an encouraging moment. I mean, I think if we look at that independence number in particular, the favorable numbers that you just put up there, most Republicans are reasonable people, right? I may have different views from someone on the conservative side of the aisle, but this movement is becoming one of, and I say this as a rabbi, of spiritual darkness. This is a movement that he is now entirely a cult of personality driven by rage, grievance, and animus. And you can see this again and again and again when you look at some of the rallies on his base. This is not where the center of America is. Most Americans, we may disagree on a lot of issues, but we're basically reasonable people. And as these things, to me, I think Coleman's exactly right. It's like not just the death of 1,000 blows, the picture of the files in the bathroom. This is clearly well beyond where sort of the vast middle of America is, even if Trump's sort of hardcore base things come out.
He was too busy to go through the boxes, and he wanted to sort out his golf shirts?
It's obviously incriminating, but I just think that, again, this is just my opinion, his legal staff, the good ones, are departing. The ones that he's picking up right now are yesing him, and he's in a very tough spot, and he's going to do what he usually does, is completely rely on himself and go with his intuition as opposed to great legal advice, and it's going to lead to his downfall.
Meaning what?
He'll implode. He'll implode. He'll continue to do interviews like that incriminate him, there'll be more and more recordings of things that he's saying that are nonsensical, and that indictment will stick. He will have a small group of people that no matter what will say this was a witch hunt, this the government going after him, the government with a bunch of bad actors, and all the conspiracy tinfoil hat people will stay with him. But the people that Jay's mentioning, they will not. They will eventually flee. And when it happens, people will be like, why did it take so long? But when it happens in a waterfall. It doesn't happen gradually. They'll go over, be in that little barrel, going over over Niagara Falls, and people were like, okay, that was pretty predictable.
Get ready to Anthony's given us some good visuals, I feel, in his in his metaphors that he's using.
Well, of anyone at the table, he's been the closest.
Absolutely.
We'll get some hairspray ads out of this. I mean, the guy needs help.
Thank you all very much for this. Meanwhile, Republicans say that Hunter Biden got a sweetheart deal and a slap on the wrist. So what would the punishment be for the rest of us? We've got a reality check next. And we've got more to come on our breaking news on the search for the missing sub. Banging sounds have now been heard every 30 minutes during the search today. We'll have more coming up.
Recycling right is easy. Reduce waste by recycling paper, flattened cardboard, plastic bottles, and cans. Never bag your recyclables and never put plastic bags into your recycling bin. Learn more at gorecycle.org. Brought to you by the District of Columbia.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Super Paint products and Super Deck stains June 16th through the 26th. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot, or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift, whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby, or counting your breaths on the subway,
Inhaling and long exhale.
Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
Dr. Rick here. If you find yourself getting particular about where you get the weather, you may be turning into your parents.
Looks like it might rain. Let's see what Corey from Channel 2 has to say. He's something else. I like him better than Harris from Channel 5.
You could just look up the weather on your phone.
I like Corey from Channel 2.
Progressive can't help you from becoming your parents, but we can help you compare rates on home insurance with Home Quote Explorer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hi, I'm Sally, back with more Great Wolf Lodge breaking news. The new lodge in Maryland is opening with some awesome new features for the whole pack. Here's Steven, reporting live.
Hi, Sally. After hitching a ride with the Great Wolves, my pack and I took it easy on the lazy river, hit the Great Geyser water park, and now we're getting ready for a pillow fight in our kid cabin.
Stay safe out there, Steven. This is Sally, howling off from Great Wolf Lodge, Maryland.
Hey Heather, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Physical therapist will analyze your gait.
How's the American
Psychologist
truck
will
going,
help you
Hez?
manage your anxiety.
Hopefully it's good for
What
you.
if your walk affects your hip alignment and the loss of movement affects your mental health? The body is connected in unseen ways. That's why our doctors work together to care for all that is you. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you. Learn more at kp.org.
Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of the Mid-Atlantic States Incorporated, 2101 East Jefferson Street, Rockville, Maryland, 20852.
Here are 3 reasons why Smart Water makes the #1 summer travel companion. It works with every car cup holder and pairs perfectly with gas station guilty pleasures. If you're making moves, we got you. Smart Water hasn't met a backpack it didn't fit right into. And if someone is trying to start an awkward convo on the plane, Smart Water can help you cut it off while you get your earbuds in. Like this. Sorry. I'm just way into hydration. Smart Water. Keep it smart.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home, or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. Auto trader.
President Biden's son, Hunter, will plead guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors and is reportedly striking a deal with federal prosecutors to resolve a felony gun charge. Republicans call it a sweetheart deal. Is that true? John Ablon's got our reality check tonight.
And then
John.
exit right. So look, Allie, after an uncommonly long 5-year investigation, Hunter Biden will plead guilty to 2 tax misdemeanors while striking a deal to resolve a felony gun possession charge. This is not the outcome the Republicans were hoping for.
It continues to show the two-tier system in America.
This DOJ continues to hunt Republicans and protect Democrats.
One set of rules for Republicans and one set of rules for Democrats.
Yeah, there's a lot of doubling down on this idea of a legal double standard. Turn left. Making Donald Trump's 37-count indictment. But does that stack up to the facts? Well, the investigation first was conducted by a Trump appointee, U.S. Attorney David Weiss of Delaware, specifically to reduce concern about politicized results. But, of course, Hunter Biden has been demonized by the right pretty thoroughly. To use just one measure, get this, a LexisNexis search found that he was mentioned more than 2,200 times on Fox News between 2020 and 2022. Doing the math at home, that's well over once a day. So don't believe the hype. Instead, look at the comps. Now, we know that other Americans who take home classified national security documents often receive stiff prison sentences. It happened in several cases recently, as detailed by CNN's Daniel Dale. But willful failure to pay income tax with a guilty plea often does not result in Go
prison
straight
time,
on.
especially
The money's been paid back with interest. That's the deal with Hunter Biden's case. He underpaid the IRS by at least $100,000 in both 2017 and 2018 when he was admittedly a crack cocaine addict. He's since paid up and will receive probation. Now, the gun charge is a little bit strange. Bear with me. Basically, Hunter Biden was charged with possessing a gun when he was a drug addict. That is illegal. Go straight on.
Clearly charged standalone unless the gun is used in a separate crime.
Get this. Over 6 months, from October 22 to March of this year, federal prosecutors filed over 3,800 cases of unlawful possession of firearms, according to a database compiled by Syracuse University. Go straight but on. in only 3% of the time, failing to make a false statement to acquire the gun related to the lead charge. So you can't reason someone out of something they weren't reasoned into, as the Irish author Jonathan Swift once wrote. But here's the big picture. The fact that son of the president was investigated by the government and charged is actually evidence that no one is above the law. That's a good thing. And that's
John, thank you very much. We'll check in with you shortly. My panel is back quickly. So, Jen, just to be clear, just so I understand what John was saying, if any of us underpaid our taxes by $100,000,
Oh, awesome, Hez.
we would also get probation, or we would get a stricter sentence.
Honestly, I'm
Oh,
not
that's
even
good
sure
to hear,
who
right?
would be investigated and charged in the first place. There's a very good argument here that were Hunter Biden not the president's son, no one would have been taking a look at him for all sorts of stuff that he's done in the first place. But putting that aside, yes, you would have a very good chance of getting probation if you paid back the money immediately, as Hunter Biden did. And think about this as well, because people were talking about this at the time of the investigation. Hunter Biden was a crack cocaine addict at the time of the offense conduct. That means if you are a prosecutor, you're thinking about taking this case to trial, felony trial, can you prove the mens rea to a jury, beyond a reasonable doubt, to a unanimous jury, right? That's a proof question. That's an issue for them. And so as you're thinking about this case and how you charge it, that's another reason to think about trying to get a plea deal here, which is one of the reasons it's not missing.
So, Jay, do you feel that Republicans will no longer be working up the ladder about...
I mean, for years now, the Republicans have been trying to make fun of Tony Soprano. He's really Brendan Fuller. The guy he's a nebbish. We should have what we could say in Yiddish, recognize. We should have compassion.
Yes, Heather, far away,
He
Chip.
fell into addiction. He's had he clearly broke the law. And I agree with John, the fact that no one's above the law, this is a good thing. At the same time, the fact that this man who has made a bunch of mistakes and has shown very poor judgment, that this is the person who's at the center of these wild conspiracy theories by one of the two major parties in the country, that's, to me, what's most shameful.
Thank you both very much. All right, meanwhile, coming up, more on our breaking news on the search for the missing sub. Banging sounds heard every 30 minutes during the search today. What that means, we'll have more on our breaking news.
Pedro was
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Nothing beats driving cross-country in our RV.
This is so much fun, Dad. I don't even need to look at my phone.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. Jinx!
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure that RV is always ready to hit the road. Who knows, your teenager might actually put down her phone for 5 minutes. It could happen. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot, or being guided into Warrior One in the break room before your shift, whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while
What's
she
your
watches
question,
the
Heath?
baby, or counting your breaths on the subway. Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an
World
offer
of
to sell or
Trucks,
trade
I
your
asked
car
for
that
a
you can be
reset
sure
link
is fair.
for my
Then
password.
choose a
They
dealer to
sent
purchase
it,
your car
but it
and
wasn't
schedule a time to meet.
it wasn't in my
For all of the
Gmail,
hits,
so I can't remember what
KBB.com.
email I used. Best thing to do, Heath, is just create another account.
Till midnight or later, so you can
Just create a new account using your Gmail.
Now all of
You'll be straight in,
items
check.
just got their bedtime extended. You can get what you want even later, like
Your
bacon
World of
with
Trucks will
6
be
strips
right
of
up
bacon,
there,
or
girl.
the perfect fries and frosty duo. If you're up later, then so are we. So go ahead and pull through the drive-thru. When the craving hits, go night mode at Wendy's. Open till midnight or later. All right, see ya later.
Participating in West Wendy's hours may vary.
I can't keep this in anymore. I can't even believe I'm saying this, to be honest. You know you can tell me anything. I'm capital VFD42, capital Z, lowercase m, underscore, lowercase p, capital L, reverse slash apostrophe, lowercase rs. I know how you feel. Just between us, I am underscore, comma, dash, underscore, dollar sign, capital G, lowercase w, comma, forward slash, dash, dash, reverse slash. No way. I am so glad we had this conversation. I know.
Turn on total privacy.
Excuse me.
WhatsApp. Message.
I hope that helped you, Heath.
Upgrade your home with big savings on select GE appliances at Lowe's. Right now, you can get up to an additional $1,000 off on select major kitchen appliances. And bring home GE Profile's new ultra-fast combo, a 2-in-1 washer and dryer that does your laundry from start to finish in just 2 hours. No load transfer needed. Get it in-store or online for less, along with GE Appliances' other innovative items. Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details. Offer ends 6/21.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking
Euro
digital
Truck is
pictures of
connected,
his
but
family's important
ATS is...
documents,
Well,
Steve
did you have an
can always have
ATS?
them stored
No.
safely online. No
Yeah, it
matter
should,
when
if Euro
disaster
Truck's
strikes.
connected,
Learn
ATS
other
should.
simple ways to protect your home and family
That's a bit
before
weird,
and after
Heath.
disaster at ready.gov. That's
A
ready.gov.
little bit weird, girl,
A
just
message
saying.
from FEMA and the Ad Council.
If you love sports, then you've got to upgrade to TuneIn Premium. It's your ticket to top play-by-play from the biggest leagues. We're talking NHL, English Premier League, MLB, and the biggest college sports.
Bennington's reset. Manson scores!
Plus, commercial-free ESPN radio for hot takes between games. Stay competitive on your fandom with TuneIn Premium. Upgrade now to get in the game.
We have breaking news tonight on the massive search operation to find that submersible with 5 people on board that went missing Sunday on a trip to view the wreckage of the Titanic. There is a new development in the past hour. Crews searching for the sub reportedly heard today banging sounds at 30-minute intervals. Then,
I don't see how
after
Euro
additional
could
sonar
connect and
devices were
American
deployed,
couldn't.
banging was still heard.
That's a bit
This is
weird,
according
Heath.
to an internal U.S. government memo. It was unclear exactly what time this banging was heard. A subsequent update sent tonight suggested more sounds were heard, though they were not described as banging. I want to bring in deep sea explorer and oceanographer David Gallo. David, thank you very much for being here. What does this development tell you?
Well, immediately the first thing is it gets your hopes go skyrocketing up, but also it makes you think that, wow, time is really now against us. So we could really encourage you to do something, but do it quickly. Because anyway, you have to be. There's a little bit of caution here because if you remember Malaysian Air, there were all sorts of banging.
There she is, my little dirty, filthy, rusty, rotted Pete. Absolutely awesome.
But it gets the hopes of the families and loved ones up.
Let's let them get some kit.
And it does
reset the bed.
An upbeat in terms of let's get this show underway. So I'm looking at it as a very positive sign. And now the next question is how do we find out?
I'm not really of much help to you, I might have it really. But I don't know why Euro Truck would connect an ATS wouldn't, unless you hadn't made an ATS account.
A colleague is out there on that sub, and he knows what he's doing.
Should
and
both
maybe he
connect.
figured that's the best way to have them recognize where they are. That make sounds every 30 minutes.
Mind you, it's a bit early in the morning, so maybe I'm missing something obvious.
Instead of constantly, it's best to save energy and to do it that way.
Yeah, you're not the only person who said that. We just had another
Roll a fag.
Who said that Paul Henry, who you call PH, would be doing something methodical in that way.
Positively.
And so does this help I imagine this helps narrow the search, but do you have any sense of, we had heard earlier today the search was the size of the state of Connecticut. Does this change that?
I don't know where that came from. I mean, if they think that's the search area, that's incredibly large. I think it would be a lot smaller than that, much smaller than that, in my mind. But maybe they thought it would drift further. But the lesson we learned with air grants and other sunken ships is that the best place to look is where it's the last known position. And in this case, it was right above the Titanic wreck site. So, and the question is, where are those bangs coming from? Are they also coming from that area, or are they moving around the ocean? I get a little bit agitated when if they put something like that out. What do they do to investigate the location of those bangs? Not just that they heard them, but from where? And that seems like the kind of thing a Navy submarine hunter should be able to do, to locate where that sound is coming from. So. But the fact that it came from the government memo, and I started hearing about it about 2 hours ago, a lot of credible people have said this is a real deal.
So I hear you. It's not just a witness.
How you
doing? A U.S. government memo. And so very quickly, time is of the essence, of course.
Awesome. Cole, how you doing?
30
nice
hours
to see you.
left of basically an oxygen supply. And so what needs to happen right now? And do they have the equipment to do it?
I don't know exactly what's out there. I will say remotely operated vehicles. And at the very least, you need to get something with a camera and probably with some sort of manipulator arms that can grab and then start moving. The first thing is to identify where the bank is coming from and continue. Second thing to do would be to move some of our remotely operated vehicles to that area and get them in the water. And there may be nothing there, but in case there is something there, you don't want to have to wait a day to get that. Let's get the ships out there right away. And those are the first. Find it and then document what the issue is and then prepare to retrieve.
Well, I hope you're safe and well, Code. From Eastern time, that's awesome. I'm in my dirty, filthy old Pete 389 by Outlaw, and she's gorgeous. I've even got matching box trailer. It's filthy, it's rotten, and it's awesome.
Whether you're doing a dance to your favorite artist in the office parking lot, or being guided into Warrior 1 in the break room before your shift, Whether you're running on your Peloton tread at your mom's house while she watches the baby, or counting your breaths on the subway, Peloton is for all of us, wherever we are, whenever we need it. Download
One
the free
second,
Peloton
Heather. I
app
signed
today.
into World of
Peloton app
Trucks with
available
your
through
Steam
free tier
account,
or paid subscription
and
starting
it
at
said
$12.99
none
per
of
month.
my games can be used to sign up to World of Trucks.
Sprite celebrating. We're giving away a
That's
summer
weird.
full of
Well, I didn't sign in
Just
via
your favorite
Steam,
flavor,
Heather.
Bottle or can.
I just did an external
Now
account.
back to whatever you were listening to. Sprite.
So you must have used an external email address. Don't sign
As a
into
kid,
World of
you
Trucks
knew
with
you
your
made
Steam
what you
account.
called
Sign in with your
Best
external
Buy
email address. And that should connect it all
This
for you.
June, Grimace is celebrating his birthday at McDonald's.
Whoa.
With a shake all his own. Yay.
And just for you, Zeb, so you know, I've installed my World of Warships and I've done a full NVIDIA profile inspector profile on it, and it looks absolutely stunning, bud. So I'll do a video on what I did, plus all the settings in the description underneath the video. You should try it on your RTX. I'm only on a GDX 1050 Ti, but it looks absolutely freaking
We're not going to
gorgeous.
show up to be arrested by the FBI. That's a trap. We're going to work in different ways. I think we need to speak of Trumpism, not Trump.
I'm the next On the Media from WNYC. Listen to the On the Media podcast on TuneIn today.
Baseball fans.
I'll try and get that video done in the next day or so for you, Zeb. I think you'll find that really interesting. God damn, it looks gorgeous. Well, I think it does anyway. Interested what you think.
That's right. With TuneIn, you'll never miss a pitch.
Or do you already use NVIDIA Profile Inspector on your World of Warships?
Follow your favorite teams and players
Maybe you
in
do.
real time. Search MLB or tell your favorite
Who's
team
me?
on TuneIn to get in the game.
Wall Street Journal Radio is now on TuneIn. From top-line morning briefings to afternoon deep dives on the markets, the economy, and more. Invest in your day with WSJ Radio.
I'm J.R. Whalen for the Wall Street Journal. Many workers have high expectations.
Some error message you went next. Nice. Well, I'll do your full video on it.
Market Watch and Investors Business Daily. It's all here. Now streaming on TuneIn. Search Wall Street Journal Radio on TuneIn to listen.
And you can either follow it or ignore it. You're next. Oh, damn, it looks good though.
To explore, unlimited and uninterrupted. For one great price, you get access to all the titles you want. To learn more, search for audiobooks or navigate to the audiobooks tab.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
You may already think of TuneIn as the all-in-one audio app.
But we're here to remind you that it's also the all your devices audio app.
That's because TuneIn is ready to stream on virtually any smart device you already have.
Smart speakers?
Yep.
So this is one hell of a long journey.
Totally.
Smartphones
We started off in Fort
No
McMurray.
Plus,
We've just
if you
coming
want to
down
fire
to
up your favorite audio
Saskatoon,
with a simple voice command,
and we
It's as
are
easy as telling
headed
your Alexa-enabled
full
devices
circle
to open TuneIn Live.
And you'll be
from
jamming
Miles
or beating
City.
into your favorite radio and podcast.
Hell of a
Without
journey.
lifting a
Jesus
finger. Go
Christ.
ahead, give it a
Cheese
shot.
and rice.
Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy.
Yeah, well, I'm impressed with it, Zeb. It does have a downside, of course. So whenever I update my NVIDIA drivers, which is fairly regularly, as you know, you have to reapply all your profile settings. So that's a bit of a pain in the arse. So at the minute I've got American Truck, Euro Truck, World of Warships. Well, of course, the more games you NVIDIA profile, the more profiles you've got to apply. But apart from that, it's pretty damn cool. And it sure does make the games look gorgeous. But anyway, I'll do a video on it, Zeb, next day or two, and lob it up on the website. And then, as I say, you can either have a go at it or ignore it.
Yeah, no, I don't think Democrats should. I think Democrats, I worry
will make a similar mistake that was made with Trump, which is he seems like a clown. He's saying all this crazy stuff. He's an outsider. His fans seem taken in by misinformation. Let's just wish that this goes away by not taking it seriously, and then we're all blindsided.
And what might happen if they don't take it seriously?
Well, I think, frankly, he appeals to a lot of people, and we should make a serious effort to understand why. Like, obviously, I watched the whole Joe Rogan episode. A lot of his ideas are just absolutely kooky, unfounded, right? But he's also speaking to a very real resentment that people feel of the government's handling of COVID. And we know the pharmaceutical industry is the #1 lobbyer, and the CDC, FDA, NIH. Unfortunately, there's a revolving door, and regulatory capture and corruption that's legal, and people feel enormous resentment about
excuse me.
Yeah.
So you've got to reapply all the profiles once a month. It's a bit of a pain in the arse, but I think it's worth it. Certainly on the trucking, and as I say, the World of Warships looks gorgeous. Whether I can apply it to the other games I've got installed, I'd like to do it on Train Sim, that'd be awesome. And I'd also like to do it on Fallout 76 as well.
The wishes of
we'll see.
drug companies. But look, it's clear
if you're not careful, you end up spending more time doing that than actually enjoying your games. Just saying.
As they should be for a typical incumbent president. I don't think that Bobby Kennedy Jr. is the solution to that. The fact he's getting pumped up, particularly by folks on the right, as a credible alternative to Joe Biden, I think speaks to who he most appeals to. That doesn't mean there's not Venn diagram overlap. There were Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump fans in the room. And so, no, he should not be dismissed, but his claims need to be interrogated in a fact-based way. And when they are, many of his strongest claims break down upon the slightest bit of scrutiny. But he sounds very convincing because he's inundated himself with this thing.
Well, 2008, a gentleman by the name of Barack Obama was not taken seriously. He was very low in the polls, and the Clintons said, okay, don't attack him. He'll be our HUD secretary someday. That went on to become president. 2016, Donald Trump not taken seriously by anybody. Candidates I worked for, Scott Walker, Jeb Bush, they'll flame out of the race. They'll say something destructive. We thought the McCain incident was going to cause that. He became the president. I don't think RFK Jr. becomes the president. He could do heavy damage to the president. He could weaken him going into it.
And there's an additional factor.
So they got to go after him now.
Yeah, there's an additional factor too, which is the halo effect of his name, not just his last name, but about his father. Robert F. Kennedy holds a very sacred place in the memory of this country, in part because he was able to create coalitions, particularly among African Americans and poor working class whites, that no other candidate's really been able to come together. And the fact that of course, he was assassinated 55 years ago this
month. No worries. I'm not on Discord, you're right, not while I'm streaming. Chab. I'll nip on the Discord when I've done the stream. Zeb, send me the screenshot. Yeah, Queb.
People who like the name Kennedy.
God, I love banter.
And people who just want anyone but Biden. I was actually intrigued by Cleon Castro's comments today.
I mean, every time I go on Discord, there's never anybody on there. So it's a chicken and egg, isn't it? And then when I don't go on there, everybody moans that I'm never on. Love it. You can't win. Love it.
Do you think RFK Jr. does hurt Biden somehow?
I mean,
Michael Lilly would chew my arse off. Yes. Oh, Eebs, you're never on the Discord. Oh, fucking hell. All right. So you go on the Discord, you never see anybody. Oh, right. Okay. How's that work then?
He's already heard it.
How?
He's very likable, and he has a message that's reaching a demography that the president needs. And if he gets 10, 12, 15, 20% of the vote, the Republicans will say, this guy's weak, even in his own base. And you could get a strange candidate on the Republican side that goes after the RFK people. It's not
I don't know.
That's the crossover. We got Bernie Sanders voters, by the way, in 2016.
But anyway, I'll pop on after the stream.
Mainstreaming
Zebby.
kind of both siding on Russia-Ukraine. That, I think, is exactly right. That's ammunition for Republican.
Yeah, this is the code pink Donald Trump overlap on foreign policy.
Straight on.
But the framing on the Kennedy Democrats speaks to something different. That tradition means that people are sort of patriotic liberalism that I think is open, and this Kennedy's policy.
I'll put all the links up as well where you need to get NVIDIA profile inspector from. Maybe that's your issue. Maybe you downloaded it from a site different to where I get it from, Zeb.
Able than nobody.
All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for all of that. Tomorrow on CNN This Morning, inside the first of its kind recommendation to screen all adults for anxiety. And into that at 6 a.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for watching us tonight. Our coverage continues. Yeah, what?
Yeah, I think that's where you've gone wrong.
Whether you're doing
I don't get it from
your favorite
nVidia.
artist in the office parking lot,
I'll get it from I think it's a nightly build GitHub.
whether
That's
you're
where I
running
get
on your
it from.
Peloton tread,
Anyway, I'll put the links and all the information in the video for you, Zebby. But it's definitely worth doing. It's freaking awesome.
Peloton
Oh,
is
well, I
for
think
all
it
of
is
us.
anyway.
Wherever we are, whenever we need. Download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription starting at $12.99 per month.
Audiobook fans, get ready for a world of listening. TuneIn Premium now has over
show you what it
100,000
looks
titles for you
like.
to explore. Unlimited and
Save that
uninterrupted.
away.
For one great price, you get access to all the
Screen
titles
will
you
go
want.
black
To
for a
learn more,
minute.
search for audiobooks or navigate to
Just
the
get rid of
audiobooks
that
tab.
garbo.
BCLF Cocoa Pod is a Caribbean storytelling experience.
Get rid of that. Shut up. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's been done. Yeah, I think that's it, Zeb. No, that's not where I'll get it from. What am I talking about? I'll get it from the ROEX forums, which is trucking. So this is my World of Warships. Hopefully it'll come up on screen for you. Fingers crossed. Looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. This is all nVidia profile inspectors, and the main difference is that MVP overrides World of Warships in-game graphics settings. It overrides them and sets the nVidia ones. Just looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. Bearing in mind I'm only on a little 1050, so yours is going to look even more stunning. Hey up CFW, nice to see you my friend, hope you're safe and well. Look at that. Feck me, is that stunning or what? I mean even the sea looks freaking real. Hot diggity, just saying. There's my beautiful Herpes aircraft carrier. And of course the old Dreddy. Right. Why am I in the Philippines? Why does it keep doing this to me? I'm from England, love. Yeah. So it's a little GDX 1050 Ti. It's I mean, even the water just looks so realistic. That could just be. I mean, is that the colour of the Thames water or what? Just saying. It just looks so gorgeous. And it's only a 5-minute thing to do. It's not particularly taxing or intensive. What is important is to put the absolute correct set of settings in for each game. So as I say, I've done it for Euro Truck, American Truck. I've now done it on World of Warships, and it just, wow, it just blows me away. It just looks gorgeous. And so this is on a little 1050 Ti 4 gig. So on your RTX, it's going to look almost, not quite, but almost photorealistic. Just absolutely stunning. Thank you, CFW. No, it's not different for each PC, Zeb, because it's game bound, not PC bound, which is really cool. So actually one set of settings does all. So whether I'm on this or on my main gaming rig, it's the same set of settings because it's based on the game, not the hardware. Very cool. So if I come off my World und eine Worshipen and I put you on the desktop, hopefully you can see the Dexy top when it comes up. Yeah, no, it's a little bit more in depth than that. Come on, show me the freaking desktop, you fothermucker. Oh, alright, let me just remove that. Right, add. Display capture. There we go. Capture cursor, yeah, that's fine. Lock it down. Now hopefully you can see the desktop. This is a little PC, by the way. So what's important? So if we open up nVidia Profile Inspector, obviously you've got all your games. So if we go to World of Warships, there you go. So you can see the settings that I've put in individually, and some of them are labelled World of Tanks. These are the settings that really do matter because they completely override, as well as the texture filtering. This overrides the game settings. So I'll do a video on exactly what settings to put in under what headings, and then you need to apply them. And then usually what I do is I export the definitions, so you can see I've got World of Warships and American Truck Simulator at the minute backed up. And then whenever you install new drivers, all you've got to do is click on the import. You need to select your game before you click on import. If you don't and you just click on import, you think you're importing World of Warships. It won't. It will import it to the overall global config settings and it'll wreck all your images. All your games will be wrecked. Well, there you go. It's really down to pure skill and knowledge, Zeb. Years of, you know, doing all this shit. So if we go to American Truck Simulator, you see that's got a completely different set of settings compared to World of Warships. So it's really important. What is critical is these settings, and if you've not got these settings bang on, you're screwed. It ain't going to look any different to playing it without. But once you've got your settings in, you're in a brilliant little place. How very dare you doubt my skills and abilities? How fucking dare you, really? Chab. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to show you is, where do I get it from? This website here, Zeb, is where I always get my nVidia Profile Inspector, and it's also got a full explanation. All the settings are already there for American Truck and Euro Truck. I'll post all the settings that you need for World of Warships underneath the video, but this is where I get my nVidia Profile Inspector from. And it's row extended. Oh, hang on. Let me just paste it in the chat for you. It's always worth bookmarking this, because it's. I use this site so many times. Marking this, because it's. There you go. I'll just post that in. Just bookmark it, Zeb, because it's such a wonderful site. I've got so much knowledge and help out of it. You're a chub, you are, ain't you? You really are. Trying to call me out, you quab. So if you download and install your nVidia Profile Inspector from here, and it'll tell you, and this is really important, depending on what version of the nVidia drivers you're using, that dictates which version of nVidia Profile Inspector you need. So that's really important. So read, digest, learn. Queb. And then, as I say, when I do the video on World of Warships, I'll upload all the settings that you need, you know, from my knowledge base in my head. I'll behave. You got nothing to do and all day to do it. Give me a break. It's not too much hassle at all. This is a great website, by the way. There's some terrific settings and insights on here, and just goes on and on. It explains all the different values and just fantastic. Really good website. Anyway, look, it's all there for you. If you don't want to do it, fine. No worries. No worries at all, my love. But look, I just thought I'd show you that. It's made such a difference to the gaming for me. Just saying. Just going to make sure the trucket comes back up. When you're watching a black cat in a coal house, yeah, we're up. Good. Thank God for that. And it really does. It's probably not so important for you, Zeb, because you've got really good hardware. So, but down at the shit end of the stick, it really does make a hell of a bloody difference. It's awesome. But anyway, I'll stick the World of Warships video up. I'll try and get it done the next day or so with all the settings, and then it's up in it. Once it's up, it's done.
Okay, here we go.
And then if people want to benefit from it, they can. Yeah, absolutely. Just fantastic. But I am a big fan of MVP, and that is one of the reasons, in my shitty opinion, that nVidia is still king, because you just don't get that sort of tool lap on other graphics cards. So I'm going to have to buy an nVidia RTX now, and I've just bought an AMD. nVidia's king and I'll buy AMD. Really, Eves?
Turn right.
Dickwad. But anyway, I'll perhaps treat myself to a cheeky RTX.
Turn right.
Why the hell not? I'm hoping the AMD will be here today. And I'll do a video on that as well. We'll stick it in the main gaming rig, fire it up and see how it performs. I just hope it don't end up being like your Vega, otherwise I'll be well disappointed. Especially after sponging up all the hype off YouTube. But hey, guess we all got to learn the hard way. No, there's not, Zeb. AMD doesn't have anything like nVidia Profile Inspector. I've already done an awful lot of searching. They have, AMD does have kind of light features to AMD, so like upscale rendering, that sort of thing, you know, anti-lag, all that. Yeah, they've got all of that, but they just don't have tools like nVidia Profile Inspector. It's just, for me, that one tool sets nVidia apart from the crowd. It really does. You know, if you want to get the maximum pleasure out of your games, you can't go wrong with MVP. And it's available for so many games as well. Huge list. But as I say, it's really more at the shit end of the stick rather than your end, the top end. You're already getting really gorgeous images anyway. So it's perhaps not so important. What I will try when we get the AMD. Oh, I can't, can I? It's not nVidia, dick. I was going to say I'll try it in 2K, see what a difference it makes on 2K as opposed to 1080p. But anyway, that's that idea out the window, isn't it? I'll have to get an RTX. I'll treat myself to an RTX, and we'll try it in 2K. It was £105, brand new CFW, and that's an AMD RX 5800 8GB. Oh, I'm driving on the freaking grass, really, Eves. So I'm going to get an RTX as well, so that I'll probably go for the RTX, not the TI, but the straight 3060. Because I think that's a comparable card with the AMD RX 5800. So it'd be interesting to see how the two go head to head. But the world and his wife all state that the AMD RX 5800 in 2023, the full bandwidth 8GB, is the best value for money card for 1080p on the market. And that's not just one person's opinion, that's an absolute shed load. That's every person's opinion I can find. And they all say it's much better value than the RTX, but of course that does depend greatly upon your own point of view, doesn't it? I'd say the RTX is better because it's got access to MVP, whereas the RX, but I've never gone a proper RX card. The only RX I've got is a 460 with a little 2GB OEM job, so I wanted to get a full AMD RX and lob it in the gaming rig just to see whether I have a Zeb experience that he had on the Vega, or whether it is all that. I mean, I do like the 460, apart from the fact it's old and got no grunt, bless it. Even worse, it's got no VRAM, only 2GB. So I'm hoping this little 8, it is, as I say, little, it's quite big with all the heat sinks and shit. I'm hoping this 8GB offering from AMD RX should be a nice bit of kit to try out. Excuse me. I have to say I've been mega impressed with the little RX 460. It's a great little card, so I'm hoping the 5800 will be more of the same, but just a lot more VRAM, a lot more grunt. And the 5800 is squarely aimed at 1080p gaming, so it should be perfect for me. So I've got fingers crossed for Team Red, but yeah, I will get myself an RTX as well. Spared me set. I also built my opinion on my daughter's AMD laptop, which is an AMD 560, compared to the one I gave her with a 1050. The AMD is shite. Thank you, Zeb. Always love the ego massaging there, Zeb. Thanks, mate. You give me such confidence I've made a good purchasing decision. That's not a bad price at all. Thanks again. I'm running 1050. Yeah, I'm running a 10. What you're looking at a 1050 at the minute, CFW. And I think the 1050 is one of the best cards ever made. I really do. I think the 1050 and the 1080 Ti, well, the 1050 Ti, the 1080 Ti, two of the best cards ever made. I've never had or used an RTX, so I can't comment. I know lots of you have, but I haven't. And as I say, I've just bought an AMD. So we'll see if it is better than an nVidia or whether it's just a load of shite. And the only way I'm ever going to really truly find out in my own mind is to buy them and try them, innit? Simple as that. So I've just got to make my mind up what RTX I want to go for, and then at least I can do a proper split screen side by side comparison, RX 5800 versus RTX 3060 or whatever. I'll make sure they've both got the same amount of VRAM and similar specs, if you like. So there's no point in me getting, you know, an RTX 4080 and compare, because it's just not fair. You'd have to go RX 7000 series. But everybody's raving about AMD at the minute. The whole world and his daughter, as I say, in terms of being good value for money. So let's see if it's a load of tat or if it's factual. I can see me ended up with a pile of graphics cards and gearing the buggers away to people who need them. But anyway, we'll see. $30 series is still expensive. Yeah, well, I'm guessing you're not getting a brand new 30 series, Zeb, for 105 quid. Just saying. And you can pick RX 5800s up, say 105 quid, what, $115 brand new. There's also a whole raft of the Chinese ones. Now they are very, very good, especially the Jing Shui ones. But the only difference is they're not really a full-blown 5800. In that the Chinese ones have, I think it's slightly less bandwidth. Which I think makes a big difference on top-end games like Cyberpunk and that. But I don't play Cyberpunk, so it. But you know, I mean, apparently some of the Chinese are supposed to be really, really good. Again, in terms of value for money, but without buying one, I wouldn't know. It might be a load of tat. You just never know till you go and try it, dear. You can speculate all day long. But as I say, we'll get my beautiful RX 5800 in, give it a good thrashing, see what it's like, and then I'll, in the meantime, I'll get myself a RTX board. Do you reckon, Zeb? I don't know. I've never been a Team Red boy, but it'd be interesting to see. I've always been Team Green myself, but. I don't think I need to get over, do I? It's late doesn't end as such. No, it doesn't. That's great. Give them a toot, a root and a toot. Let me just read that because I'm going to crash otherwise. Dinner time. See you later. See you later, Heather. Enjoy your lunch. The Threadripper, yeah. Well, the other reason for me doing it, Zeb, is it's supposed to be a perfect match for the Ryzen 5 1600AF, which is what I've got on my gaming rig. So it's supposed to be a really good pairing with that, so we'll see. But as I say, at the minute it's all just speculation and anecdotal until I get the thing in my hands and whack it in the PC and boot it up. You know, I just don't know. But I'm sure as hell going to find out, that's for sure. Let's see whether it's a revelation or the usual butt ton of fail and misery.
Exit left.
going to be one or t'other.
Exit right.
Why are these a-holes all going my way? Really? Chaps. Bear with me a second. Qud graphics device. I don't know what that is. CFW. GDX 1050 Ti. AMD GP 107. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but thank you for posting it. As I say, I've got the mine's the Asus GTX 1050 Ti, 4 gig. This is what you're looking at now. It's just amazing card. I love all the GTXs. So I've never had an RTX, so I'm gonna have to get one. I'll treat myself. It's just finding the right equivalent for the 58. I'm sure it's the 3060. But we'll see. That's your graphics card. Ah, right, okay. So what brand is your CFW? Well, it's a shame you can't really see on your screens because you're only in 720p. But on my screen, playing it in 1080p, this image is absolutely stunning, and all on a little 1050 Ti. I mean, it's amazing. And I've actually run this card in my main gaming PC at 2K. The image is still amazing. It's gorgeous, even better in 2K. Especially on something like Guild Wars 2, that would just look stunning. MSI. Ah, right, okay. I think mine's Asus. My 1050 Ti, I'm sure it's Asus. They really are top cards. You can't go wrong with them. Yeah, I know you do, Zeb. I think you sent me a GTX 960 once. That was a Zotac. That was a great bit of kit. I think that's the one I gave to Ghosty in the end. I can't remember. When I got my 1070 anyway. But yeah, we'll see. It's interesting stuff. CFW. You're a young man in your prime. I don't know what the current price of a new 1050 Ti is, or even if you can still get them now. I'm assuming you can get them off Amazon or something. I think the last time I looked at an RTX 3060 it was about 370 quid, I think. I could be wrong. In fact, as I've got to go to work soon, let me just end the trucking live stream and let's just have a quick cheeky look at the current prices of graphics cards. Just to round it all off, I'll use Edge. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon.co.uk, search nVidia RTX 3060 Ti. Yeah, 379 quid, isn't it? For a genuine one, not for a rip-off one. There's the Asus, 319 quid. 8 gig. That's not bad. Let me just go to Google. Oh, you can't see none of this shit, can you? You've just got a blank screen. Hang on. There you go. Now you should be able to. I hope. So, yeah, on Amazon, the Asus RTX 3060 Ti, 8GB GDDR6. It supports 4K. Jesus, 319 quid. So that's fine. And it's in stock as well. So I'll go ahead and get one of them, I think. But just before I do, let me have a look at the AMD RX 5800. What is the current nVidia equivalent? There we go. What is the equivalent? The RX 8 gig overclock. RX 580 is still a good graphic. That was in 2020. Should I buy a 1060? No. A GDX 1060 6 gig. No. That's not a rival to the RX 580. The 580's got 8 gig. Chab. Bloody 1066 gig. One of the worst cards ever. And they've gone about, yeah, that's waste of time. RX 580, that's RX 5800. Did I buy the 580, the 5800? I can't remember now. Oh my god. RTX 3060 Ti is the equivalent to the 6700 XT. So the 3060 Ti is much better than the 580 that I've bought. Where's the RX 580? RX 580. It's the equivalent to a GDX 10. It is the equivalent to a GTX 1066 gig. And it's Xbox One X GPU. So it's the one that's actually used in... that's not the one I've bought. AMD RX 580, 8GB. Here we go. There we are, Asus. RX 580, 8 gig, that's the one. And that should hopefully be here today, so we'll whack that in. Well, that's interesting. So the 3060 Ti is a much better card than the 580. So it would indeed, bloody hell, GDX 1060, but that's only a 6 gig, not an 8 gig. That's what I don't get. But anyway. 5800, you muppet. I love how you all get shitty about it. I mean, look. Excuse me. That's a 60. There isn't a 5800 according to this. I'm sure it's 580, the one I bought. Not 50. That's a 5700 XT. I'm sure it's 580 I bought, not 5700. That's the 550. 580. Sure, it's the 580 I bought, you know. 8 gig. GDDR5 for a start. The nVidia's GDDR6. But they all reckon that this is the best value for money 1080p card in 2023. They reckon it's amazing. Really good quality. There you go. 60 frames a second 1080p card. Four gig, avoid it like the plague. It's the 8 gig one that you want. You see how this is stripped down as well, the memory bandwidth. Oh, that's a 550, not a 580. But I think that's what the Chinese, cheap Chinese ones do. It's got exactly the same specs, but they really strip the video memory bandwidth down. That's why they're so cheap. But we'll see anyway. We'll see when it comes. I don't even know what I fricking bought, do I? I'm a nightmare. Walking nightmare. But I'm definitely going to get myself one of these for 320 quid. I think that's good value. And we've got a 2K monitor, so it should do fine in 2K. And we'll see how we get on. 319 quid, that's not bad. I think it was 370 odd quid when I last looked, so prices are coming down. 580 would be against the GDX 10 series. Oh, well, there you go then. We'll compare it against the 1050, but you can't really because it's got double the VRAM, isn't it, the 1050? So what I could do is I could slap the 1070 in and pit it against the 1070, I suppose. Yeah, the 1050 Ti is amazing. I still think it's one of the best cards ever made, along with the 1080. It's just a shame that the 1080 is no longer available new, especially the Founders Edition. You see, 1050 Ti is 169 quid. That's the exact card that I'm using. That one just there. That's the one that you're looking at right now. And it's a fantastic, fantastic card. It really is. You can't go wrong with it. It's a really great card. Yeah, 1050's a, you know, I mean the palette one, that's popular as well. 144 quid, that's good value. 141 quid here, bloody hell, that really is good value. The 1660s, they're supposed to be much better than the 1050s, but again, it's got that silly 6 gigabyte GDDR6, which is nice, but 229 is another 100 quid, isn't it? Nearly. There's an MSI 1050 Ti 189. 1660 333. Well, I don't understand that because you're in 6 gig. You're into the realms there of an RTX 3060. Why would you buy that when you can get a 3060 for just a few quid more? Makes no sense really. The hell is that? Oh, is this one of these cheap Chinese jobbies? 129 quid. Still paid less for mine. And it's not a dong feng neither. The i9 318 1440. Well, I can't imagine this is going to run 1440p on a 5.8. I could be wrong. Oh, what the feck do I know? I mean, I'm just a muppet, as you lot like to call me. But yeah, everybody's raving about the Raidens, and the Raidens seem to be readily available for a lot better price. That's a 1650. GDX 1650 for 169 quid. Nice. So at least there does seem to be availability now, which was a real problem when I last looked. GDX 1080 Ti Waterforce Extreme Edition, 1,399. Why on earth would you buy that over an RTX? I don't know why you do that. But the 1080 was a good card. But anyway, I'm rambling now and musing. Unless you are mod. I know. Well, oh, you'll do that with ECFW. Your 2080 Ti was a palette force solid card. Oh, that's interesting to know, Zeb. I meant to have a look at that actually. Just have a quick look. RTX 2080 Ti. It's an 11 gig card, 1,350 quid. Fuck. But it is an 11 gig card. Founders Edition is 2,400. You're taking the piss, ain't you? Fucking hell. RTX 3090 is 3 grand, and you can get it tomorrow. 24 gig card, so that's fair enough. nVidia RTX Titan X, 24 gig out of stock. So you had the RTX 2080 Ti, and what have you got now? The RTX, what, 40 summit, isn't it? Is it 4080 Ti? So that's a 16 gig card, and it's less money. Wow. You can get a 12 gig version for 790. RTX 6000, 10 grand. Yeah, I'm not going to be ordering that in a rush, just saying. Oh, 4070. Okay. Is it a Ti or not? Oh, that's a 12 gig. So why did you swap the 2080 for a 4070? What's that all about? Is that not a downgrade? That's like swapping a 1080 for a 1070, isn't it? Or is it not? You've only got 12 gig of DDR RAM on that VRAM. DLSS3. I don't know what DLSS3 is. Well, these must have a Zotac, I'm guessing. There it is. So is that the one you went for? 780 quid. That's a Zotac, look. GeForce RTX 4070 Ti. 12 gig of VRAM. Vibration dampers, 11 blade fan. Freeze fan stop, nice. Looks like a nice card, that does, Zeb, if that's the one you got. Beautiful. Yours was 590, only a 4070. See the link, you dink. Okay, well, let's drop it down to a 4070 and find the Zotac then. That's a Ti still, isn't it? So, I don't understand why you drop from a 2080 to 4070. Well, that's just me, though, isn't it? You must have had your reasons, I'm guessing. Hey up, Jim, how you diddly doing? Nice to see you, mate. $12 Twin Edge OC, yeah. Ada Lovelace graphics card. I don't know why you drop your huge 2080 Ti for a 4070. I've seen the link, yeah. So it's the same as the Ti one, but without the Ti bit. Because 4070 outperforms the 20 in every area. I use it and it gets access to... Oh, yeah, but what's DLSS3, Zeb? I don't know what that is. I mean, does DLSS3 make a huge... Because all you play is World of Warships, is it not? Or am I oversimplifying it? I mean, you don't do anything else. You muppet. You're a lazy shit, you are, aren't you? Fucking Google it. Oh, God, this is going to be some bullshit, isn't it? DLSS3. AI-powered performance multiplier, but... Oh, that's... I know what that is. I know what that is. And that is really good and really fucking bad as well. Because what AI-powered performance multiplier does, it takes 2 frames and generates a third AI frame, which makes the image look smoother. Now, only if you're playing an offline game. If you're playing an online game, that induces real-time lag, which puts you at a disadvantage to other players. So I'm not the only muppet, am I? Yeah, I was reading a big article on that the other day. And that's what this dropping the third AI frame in between 2 real frames, which is great for offline games, but it's absolutely shit for online FPS games because it induces lag and puts you behind the competition as such. So that's interesting. So that's interesting. So it looks like you don't know what you're on about. Just saying, muppet. And of course, your beloved World of Warships is an online FPS, so that's going to be interesting. Let me know how you get on with the DLSS, won't you? And everybody sees you and shoots you before you see them. I think he's got it plugged into his toaster CF, do we? Yeah, well, I'm just saying, Zeb, just saying. I don't think you'll find too many FPS players using DLSS. Just saying. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Little old me. Right, I've got to feck off to work, so I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you all so much for your company. Have a great day. Much, much love to each and every one of you. And I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with a new AMD card. Cheers, everybody. Much, much love.